Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in to McNiel Entertainment here, and today we are going to be checking out what the Libertarian Party is. And obviously there will be some bias. I'm just leaving that out there because during brief periods in high school, I did align with the LP, and at the same time, during the 2020 election, I voted for Joe Jorgensen when I knew virtually nothing about the Libertarian Party. But, yeah. Well, let's read this part. Welcome to the Libertarian Party. The Libertarian Party, I'm just going to shorten it to LP. The LP is your path forward to a future in which personal liberty, responsibility, and opportunity are revered and protected. We are the party of principle because our principles can't be bought, negotiated, or intimidated. Okay. Libertarians are individuals who champion the principles of individual freedom, personal freedom, limited government, and individual responsibility. Sounds promising. We believe every person has the right to live their life as they choose, as long as they respect the rights of others to do the same. Respectable. From advocating for free markets and non-interventionist foreign policy to supporting civil liberties and school choice, Libertarians stand for policies that empower individuals and reduce government overreach. Okay. We are united by a commitment to liberty, justice, and a society where everyone is free to pursue their dreams without unnecessary interference. Sounds reasonable. I have no idea how to pronounce that last name, so yeah. Okay. History timeline. Oh, picture of whoever that is. What started as a series of meetings held in the home of, I'm starting to think that's David Nolan, one of the founders, became the LP on December 11th, 1971. Those early libertarians were as inspired by Austrian economists like Murray Rothbard. I have no idea who any of those people are. I'm not going to be dictating anything in this part. Ron Paul. Well, during his campaign, he taught Americans about the importance of non-interventionism in foreign conflicts, decriminalization of illegal drugs, and the abolishment of the Federal Reserve, and a reduction in all government spending. Okay. To the belly of the beast. With LP membership and voter registrations soaring to record levels, we moved our national HQ into the... Oh no. They moved it into a controversial building. The Watergate. 2001, rapid growth continues. As the Libertarian Party celebrated its 30th anniversary, we also racked up more wins than ever. That year we reached 522 libertarians serving in public office, newspapers, political websites, published a whopping 141 libertarian opinion pieces, that year further spreading the message. Justin Amish joined the LP, becoming the first LP member to serve in Congress. Okay. That was in 2020. Okay. Party administration and coordination. A pimp pack. Yeah, y'all, the main reason why I'm not doing anything on this screen other than reading is, in case if y'all want to pause the video and read it, that would be wonderful. But, yeah, I'm just going to be reading each and every one of these. Well, that feels necessary. Okay. The LNC exists to empower and support you as you advance the principles of individual liberty, peace, and limited government. Together we can shape a society that upholds the core values we hold dear. Join the LP today. I want to see what happens when I click on this. Creator. Oh, it's for a donation. Wow, there's a member pledge. That is something that you don't see on the Democratic or the Republican donation websites. That is actually something. Before I even go to that, wait a minute, what? Okay. On the issues. Okay. Oh, wow. They actually cover a lot. So, I'm going to choose one at random here. So let's go to End the War on Poverty. Okay, let's see on that. The U.S. spent over $1.6 trillion in welfare in 2022 alone, which is 1.2 trillion more than what was spent on welfare in the early 1960s when the war on poverty began. There are now over 100 million who have received assistance of some kind in America when factoring both citizens and non-citizens. Between 2020 and 2022 alone, U.S. welfare fraud totaled over $150 billion. The poverty rate in America has been relatively flat, with it hovering between 10 and 15% for the last 50 years. The war on poverty has not eliminated poverty, it's only incentivized more use of it, as the government simultaneously make it harder for people to afford everyday living expenses. Okay. That line, I can believe it, but only at 50%. It's like, the way that I'm actually understanding this is those are there for a handout. However, it's not helping the situation if the people themselves aren't actually doing more to actually fix the situation. They're actually continuing to live in poverty for the sake of being in poverty, so that way they can just piggyback off the government, which does not make a lick of sense. But at the same time, us as consumers and the American people pretty much, well, we're actually making it harder for the government to help us, especially when we're struggling financially. The point where the corporations, big business, is taking advantage of it, to where they're raising the prices and claiming it's all on tariffs and many other things, when in reality they can actually bite it. B-I-T, not F-I-G-H-T. Moving forward, the LP calls for the phasing out of the welfare system and a shift towards private charity. Welfare system. Because that's actually an umbrella term. Because what's actually, yeah, umbrella term. So specifically what parts of the welfare system would it be cutting or phasing it out? Because you got retirement social security, you got social security disability, you've got unemployment, food stamps, child support, technically, and many others as well. Because, okay, like I mentioned in my the last political compass test that I ended up doing, I do support in turning to charity first, and then turning to the government as a last resort if you need it. However, just phasing out the welfare system, I'm not entirely for that, but we need to help those that can barely help themselves to the point where we can end up having themselves depend and rely on them. Basically, not as a free handout, but as an assistance to the point where it's not long term, it's a short term. Like example, for unemployment. Unemployment insurance is in the state of Minnesota. At a time, you can only get it for like 6 months if you're trying to find a job. That unemployment insurance, absolutely necessary and needed, especially to help those that need to find a job. And once they have the job, then the assistance gets cut off. But that is more perfect, because the job will actually help one's economy, whether or not it pays great or not. But it will actually help not only the local economy, but it will also help the personal economy, if you do think about it. But, yeah, charitable, as we're moving down here, charitable giving is already high, with some $484.85 billion given in 2021 alone. And before turning to the government, I actually went with asking the church I'm a member of for financial assistance. But yeah. Like it was a one-time thing, but yeah. When everyone is keeping significantly more of their money and the altruistic public. Okay, what is altruistic? Altruistic. I've heard that term, but I've never looked it up. Pertaining or relative. Okay. Concern for the well-being, the life of others, independently of personal benefit or reciprocity. Wait a minute. Is this the same thing? Oh, no, it's not the same thing. But okay. And the altruistic public is free to help others without the government arresting them for feeding and housing the homeless. We can have a true end to poverty in America. Well, I actually, in regards to this, I do think many of the churches that do help out as well, along with private food banks, food pantries, etc. I actually do thank them for that. Because we just can't truthfully rely on the government, so to speak, because so much of our taxes pays their salaries, but at the same time, so much of our taxes, they do go towards helping the less fortunate. However, like I did mention, helping the less fortunate, private charities, wow, I can't talk. Private charities should come first. However, as a last resort, we should be asking the government for assistance. Like a boot up instead of just a free handout. Let's see what they say on immigration. If someone is peaceful. Okay, what is the definition of peaceful in this? Is it peaceful and they do not have a record? Or is it peaceful and they do have a record? Because there is a difference. Libertarians believe people should be able to travel freely as long as they're peaceful. We welcome immigrants who come seeking a better life. The vast majority of immigrants are very peaceful and highly productive. Vast majority of immigrants. Vast majority. So it's saying, okay, the vast majority is saying almost but not all. Hence, if I'm understanding this correctly, it's saying that there are some immigrants who are not peaceful and they are highly unproductive, which I'm going to assume is relating to those that come here legally versus those that come here illegally to smuggle, well, as a trafficker of all sorts. Well, of course, the United States is a country of immigrants of all backgrounds and walks of life. Some families have just been here for more generations than others. Newcomers bring great vitality to our society. Okay, what is vitality? I do apologize for me not knowing these words, as they are new to me. Vitality is a company? Power of vitality. Lively and animated character. Newcomers bring lively characters to our society. Okay. Oh, this is exactly my stance on immigration. Legitimately. If someone has a and I'm actually quoting this. Of course, if someone has a record of violence, credible plans for violence, or acts violently, then libertarians support blocking their entry, deporting and or prosecuting, imprisoning them, depending on the offense. Libertarians do not support classifying undocumented immigrants as criminals. Our current immigration system is an embarrassment. People who would like to follow legal procedures are unable to because these procedures are so complex and expensive and lengthy. If Americans want immigrants to enter through legal channels, we need to make those channels fair, reasonable, and accessible. Okay. Oh wow. $4,000 to $12,000. Okay. So they're not wrong there necessarily. But I'm assuming it's to make sure that they do have money that they can live off for a while. Well, I totally get the property rights thing, so I'm not going there. Medical freedom. I guarantee you that this is going to be about on how the government should be outside of Medicare and healthcare in general, to the point where it's going to allow pot. However, that also comes here too. But I'm just going to make sure, just generalized. Oh, and forced vaccines. I'm not for forced vaccines, but I do believe in religious exemptions. And unfortunately for me, I took the jab. I got both of my COVID shots along with a booster. And early this year in 2025, I had both bronchitis and COVID. Oh. But otherwise, yeah, this article, basically I just got the gist of it. But drug legalization, the war on drugs is a war on all of us. Drug offenses are the leading cause for arrest in the U.S. with over 1 million arrests in 2020 for possession. Some 2.5 million incarcerated over drug crimes, which is 1 in 5 people in the prison pop. Worst of all, the war on drugs specifically has been used for racial matters. This violent, destructive backdrop has been used as an excuse to erode Americans' Fourth and Fifth Amendment rights in the name of stopping the drug trade. It hasn't stopped the drug trade. Well, then again, it's illegal. There's many things that are illegal in this country, but it's still going to happen anyway, and I'm pretty sure making things illegal or keep continuing to make it illegal isn't going to help matters. Yes, it's unfortunate that people do die from drugs, but it's never going to stop. Just like cigarettes, it's illegal for anyone under the age of 21 to have them. However, yeah, with all the rules in place, oh yeah. It's not getting the kids to stop smoking. It's not getting the kids to stop drinking. But yeah. Let's go to justice reform. The Libertarian Party demands the repeal of all criminal laws which punish someone who has not infringed upon the physical body or outer property rights of another, or who has not made an imminent threat of physical harm with impending action. This means that any law which punishes status without harm must be repealed, including laws that ban possessing cannabis, laws that ban owning firearms, selling raw milk, and laws that ban collecting rainwater. With the elimination of victimless crimes, police will be fully focused on crimes with actual victims, such as robbery, rape, fraud, and murder. These crimes do infringe on people's bodies and property rights, which should rightfully be addressed in law. Okay. I actually, in a way, I do kind of support that. but I don't at the same time. Oh, I do believe in self-defense. And I actually am for a stand your ground law. Of course, education is gonna... I'm not even gonna go into it because it's going to say, in summary, the government should not be involved in education. Okay. Of course, saying on how the government interventionism is basically violating economic liberty in the free market. That one I actually do know. Okay, let's see what it says about environment and energy resources. Okay, just reading, skimming through this, just to see what it. Okay, the bottom paragraph is basically the main summary. Libertarians will erase the self. I'm not looking that word up, and I don't know what it means. Libertarians will erase the enriching self-aggrandizing controls over how we explore our power, water, and air. We will remove all subsidies that support power systems and industries that should fail, while opening competition fully for the best, cleanest products and services to thrive. Humanity will always find a way to survive, and protecting the environment is a priority for the simple reason alone. Well, then again, if you think about it, Minnesota Power, Xcel Energy, those are two private companies alone that do end up providing power. But, yeah. I'm assuming this is on taxation. Of course, families should have all the freedoms to become parents and stuff. However, in a way, there should not be any censorship, but any speech that talks about violence should definitely be an arrestable offense, because it would violate on the individual liberty and such. Okay. I'm not reading through this, I'm just finding paragraphs that actually summarize what it's saying. The LP will seek to end all minimum wage laws. This provides them with most flexibility to find work, plummet unemployment rates, keep workers, and inspire entrepreneurship, while limiting forced costs on the economy that cuts savings and spending power for everyday people. Additionally, the Libertarian Party stands against cronyism and strong arming partnerships between unions, lobbyists, and state governments that create mandates for individual workers to be forced into unions. We will fight to enact right-to-work legislation on a federal level to ensure individuals' rights to work are not bundled into mafia-like forced unionism, and their jobs are not at risk if they refuse to join a labor union. Hold on. Hold on. The Libertarian Party is yet for little government involvement and to help, but yet they would enact a federal right-to-work legislation. I have got to go to Brave on this one. I don't even understand it. Maybe this will help me. Hmm. Hmm. Okay, I actually found something that legitimately does not make sense. Oh yeah, the mandated insurance, regardless. When I'm looking at this, with mandated insurance, it should not be mandated. It should be optional that we as the public can get. But, yeah. Okay, and now the platform. As libertarians, we seek a world of liberty, a world in which all individuals are sovereign over their own lives and are not forced to sacrifice their values for the benefit of others. We believe that respect for individual rights is the essential precondition for a free and prosperous world. That the force and fraud must be banished from human relationships, and that only through freedom can peace and prosperity be realized. Okay. Yeah, y'all can pause the video anytime to pretty much look up on what I'm looking at. Death penalty. We oppose the death penalty. Okay. Government force must be limited to the protection of the rights of individuals to life, liberty, and property, and governments must never be permitted to violate these rights. Laws should be limited in their application to violations of the rights of others through force or fraud, or to deliberate actions that place those at risk. Okay. The economic liberty. Okay. Okay, retirement and security. Retirement planning is the responsibility of the individual, not the government. Libertarians would phase out the current government-sponsored Social Security system and transition to a private voluntary system. The proper and most effective source of help for the poor is the voluntary efforts of private groups and individuals. We believe members of society will become even more charitable and society will be strengthened as government reduces its activity in this realm. Interesting. But, well, I do, in a way, I could see that it's up to the individual. However, at the same time, I do believe that, well, yes, we as the individual should have the right to plan for retirement, but at the same time, the government should be involved in a way, well, to assist in our strive to retire, but it should not be a mandated thing. It should be into something that we could opt into. And whenever we put into retirement, should be a tax write-off. Meaning we can write it off taxes so that way we can get a bigger income. Well, come tax season and such. But, yeah. This is... I'm not willing to lie. I'm going to be seeing what they have there on their shop. I am already against the next... Oh, anti-war. Oh, I see now. I am already against the next war. Okay. I understand that one now. We're going to see what they have for hats. Oh no, that hat design is actually funny. Oh, it's funny. And it's a hair scrunchie. Okay, this one's kind of funny, but not as funny as that. decor. Seeing the drinkware. Probably going to be coffee mugs. And I was right. They had to show it from that angle, of course. I have no idea who that dude is. A coaster. Let's see what page 2 brings. Probably going to be more coasters. Pint glass, wine tumbler. Oh man, that's actually funny. They got all these. Well, trying to see on the issues page, and could have sworn I saw a frequently asked question part, but I must have been hallucinating. Yeah, I must have been hallucinating. But yeah. It was like, I'm not completely or at all a libertarian, well, for the party. However, I am seeing myself as a pragmatic independent, or an independent pragmatic. No idea which one sounds better, to be honest, because I does come before P in the alphabet, but at the same time, it sounds better with pragmatic independent, pretty much to see where my stances are. And my stances do fall a little of classical liberalism, or classic liberalism. But yeah. If you like this, don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification bell so you never miss any of my content, and you have a nice day now. Bye.